Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the Major League Baseball games for Saturday, September 7th, 2024. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily rundown best bet in the MLB, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at Pickdawgz.com. I've also got my college football and NFL season passes up there, so check it out at Pickdawgz Premium. There's also a link in the description. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Saturday, Major League Baseball. First up, we go to Wrigley Field as the Yankees take on the Cubs. We got Clark Schmidt and Javier Assad as the starters. Schmidt returns to the mound, his first start at the Major League level since May 26th. Of course, he was injured, made a few rehab starts in August and the first start in September, and he fared pretty well in those rehab starts. His strikeout numbers were there, but I do think that, his first start back in a while against a really tough lineup in the Chicago Cubs that we've mentioned has been super strong, both against righties and lefties. I think this could be a tough outing for Schmidt. And, Javier Assad, we've mentioned the regression concerns with his expected numbers, but I got to admit, he's been really sharp at Wrigley Field this season. 2.3 ERA with a 3-1 record and 58 2/3 at Wrigley Field. He's in solid form, and he's given up 3 earned runs or fewer in his last 5 starts. The Cubs are 3-2 in his last 5 games as well. I got to roll with the Cubs in this game on the money line at Wrigley Field. Next up, we see the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Ryan Pepiot for Tampa and facing his former team, Zach Eflin, for the Orioles. Now, Eflin's already faced his former team. He pitched against the Rays back on August 9th at Tropicana Field. It was 7 innings of 7 strikeout shutout baseball in a 4-1 Orioles win, and Eflin's been excellent with the Orioles so far. Since joining the team, they are 5-0 in his first 5 starts. He's given up 3 earned runs or fewer in all 5 of those games. His strikeout numbers have been there, and even his first start back from the injury against the Rockies on September 1st, 7 innings, 9 strikeouts, only 1 run, and that game was at Coors Field. It wasn't at Camden Yards, so really impressive performance. I got to roll with the Orioles in this game. I think Eflin's a better starting pitcher, even though Pepiot has put together a solid campaign. We saw him give up those 3 runs in only 3 innings against San Diego last time out. I don't love this Rays lineup on the other side either. Give me the Orioles in this one. Next up, the Detroit Tigers taking on the Oakland Athletics. No official starter for Oakland, but Brant Hurter should be going for the Tigers. I think Hurter's looks, pretty solid so far at the Major League level. 3-1 record, 3.25 ERA, 27 2/3 innings, 26 strikeouts, so right around a strikeout per inning. Pretty good control, only 3 walks given up. The Tigers have won his last 3 starts, and he's not usually somebody that pitches deep into ball games, so that's why I'm looking at the first 5 innings with the Detroit Tigers on the money line. I think that they at least have the lead through 5. I don't necessarily love this Tigers bullpen, even though this team has kind of been a late inning team recently. We saw that big grand slam against San Diego in the final game of that series, but for me, I just like the Tigers in the first 5 because I do think Oakland has the bullpen advantage, so give me Tigers first 5. Next up, the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the Houston Astros. A pair of lefties on the mound in this one, Eduardo Rodriguez and Yusei Kikuchi. Now, Rodriguez was pitching well through his first 3 games with his new team and the first 3 games of the season in August against the Guardians, Rockies, and Marlins. They were all wins for Arizona, and even the next start against the Mets was a win for the Diamondbacks, but Rodriguez gave up 5 earned runs and a home run in that game. He followed up with that last game against the Dodgers, giving up 3 more runs, 7 base hits, another home run in only 4 innings of work with only 1 strikeout. Ended up being a blowout loss for the Diamondbacks, 11-6 against LA. So right now I am a little bit worried about Rodriguez. The expected numbers aren't the best. He's given up a lot of sharp contact and extra base hits recently. Yusei Kikuchi, since joining the Astros, he's been really strong. I mean, he didn't have the best start to the season with the Blue Jays, and that's why his ERA is still above 4. But in August, he went 35 innings, 2.57 ERA, 47 strikeouts in those 35 innings. And I think he's the much better starting pitcher in this matchup. So and also the Astros won all of his starts, 6-0 in those 6 games with a lot of run line covers. Give me the Astros in this one on the money line and run line. Next up, the Cincinnati Reds taking on the New York Mets. No official starter for Cincinnati, but we should see Jose Quintana going for the Mets. Jose Quintana has not been my favorite option to back this year. We've mentioned the pretty steep expected numbers and the expected ERA. And, recently he's been a little bit better. It's a little bit inconsistent, honestly, with the strikeout numbers and the walks, but his last 11 1/3, only 1 earned run given up, and I think it's a pretty beneficial matchup here. Pitching at Citi Field and facing a Reds team that has not been great against left-handed starting pitchers this year, where they have a well below 500 record against lefty starters. So I think Quintana is okay in this one. I don't think it's going to be an amazing outing, but I think he can go 5-6 decent innings, and the Mets offense has been strong, so I think they back him up and win this game, maybe cover the run line as well. Next up, we'll go to the NL East as the Phillies take on the Marlins. We got Darren McCacken for the Marlins, Aaron Nola for Philadelphia. To me, it's a lopsided pitching matchup in favor of the Phillies. Not really a lot of value in this game with how steep of a favorite the Phillies are, but I will take the Phillies and lay the 1.5 runs. Nola's in good form. He's given up 3 earned runs or fewer in his last 5 starts, and the Phillies have won all of his last 4 games. Now, they haven't really backed him up offensively too much, but I think in this matchup, they will be able to get the runs on the board early and late and cover this run line. So give me Philadelphia laying the 1.5 runs. In our next game, we go to Globe Life Field as the Angels take on the Rangers. We got Tyler Anderson and Jack Leiter on the mound, and this one, Jack Leiter just hasn't been able to put it together for an MLB start, quite yet. He's been struggling basically throughout his first 5 games of the season at the major league level. In that last game against the Yankees, 5 earned runs, 7 base hits in an 8-4 Yankees win. The Angels aren't really the toughest matchup, but neither were the White Sox, and even that game for Leiter wasn't the best, where he gave up 3 runs in 4 innings with 6 base hits and 2 walks. I think we're going to see a higher scoring game here. I think the Rangers are going to be able to back up Leiter a bit because Tyler Anderson's not my favorite option on the other side. He is struggling quite a bit recently. 4+ runs in 3 of his last 4 games. The home runs are starting to pile up as well. So give me the over here in Rangers-Angels. Next up, we see the Rockies and the Brewers. We got Ty Blach going for Colorado in more of a bullpen game, and Tobias Myers going for Milwaukee. I've backed the Rockies many times this season in the underdog role, getting, great plus money prices, but this is not one of those situations, in my opinion, where you take the Rockies. I think you got to go with the Brewers here, or just pass on the game altogether, because honestly, there's not really much value in this one. But when you look at the Rockies bullpen, we know it's been one of the weakest ones in baseball. Ty Blach in the opener role, not really my favorite option. In his last 5 appearances, whether they were out of the bullpen or starts, the Rockies lost all those games, and a lot of those were blowout losses, 10-1, 8-1, 6-0, 11-4, 6-1. So there's a lot of lopsided scores in there. Tobias Myers, he's been putting together a strong campaign. His last couple of starts, the home run's starting to be a little bit of an issue that will control as well, but I still think against an overall weak Rockies lineup that Myers can put together a strong outing, and the Brewers win this game and cover the run line. So give me Milwaukee here, laying the 1.5 runs. Next up, the White Sox and the Red Sox. Garrett Crochet and Cooper Criswell are your starters. I don't love this White Sox bullpen. We know it's been one of the weakest ones in the league, similar to the Rockies, but I think that the White Sox could have the advantage in the starting pitching matchup. I mean, Garrett Crochet may not be pitching deep into ball games anymore, but he's still pitching well. I mean, the last game against the Mets, it was 3 1/3 of 8 strikeout baseball, 8 strikeouts in 3 1/3 innings. It's kind of crazy. Only 1 run given up, and it was a home run, so just 1 mistake pitch. No walks given up, and I think he can pitch well in this game against the Red Sox team that, against lefties in the last month, they have not been great. They're 27th in isolated power. We know their strikeout rate's been steep against lefties overall this season, and on team OPS, not much better, ranked 28th with a 6.3% walk rate. So I think Crochet pitches well. The White Sox score a run or 2 on Criswell, and they cover this run line, plus a half a run in the first 5 innings, but I don't really know if that bullpen can hold up by the end of this game. We'll see, but give me Chicago in the first 5. Next up, the Minnesota Twins taking on the Kansas City Royals. Bailey Ober and Alec Marsh are your starters. Bailey Ober bounced back in a nice way. We know he struggled against the Braves back at Target Field, but his last game against the Blue Jays, it was 6 innings, a 1-run ball, 8 strikeouts, and a nice Twins win. But when you look at Ober's numbers against the Royals this year, we know notably at the beginning of the season, the very beginning of the year, his first start against KC at Kauffman was 8 earned runs and 3 home runs. You fast forward to the end of May, where Ober was in solid form. He got, a redemption spot against Kansas City at Target Field, but again, he struggled in that game, giving up 3 more home runs, 6 earned runs, and 9 base hits in a 6-1 wins for the Royals. So for me, I just can't trust Ober in this spot, even though Marsh may not be my favorite option to back. I think the Royals offense is going to back him up, and I think the Royals win this game on the money line. Next up, we'll go to Busch Stadium as the Mariners take on the Cardinals. We got Kyle Gibson and Logan Gilbert on the mound. Kyle Gibson's not fared too well at home this season. He's got an ERA above 5 at Busch Stadium. And Logan Gilbert, while the numbers on paper from that game against Oakland don't look the best, where it was 6 innings, 4 earned runs, and a home run, it was really just 1 mistake pitch, a 3-run home run from Shea Langoliers. And other than that, Gilbert was pretty much dominant in that game, especially against the bottom of the order of the Athletics. And he had 9 strikeouts through those 6 innings. I'm not too worried about him, going forward. I mean, he's actually in pretty good form in terms of the strikeout stuff. His control's been a little bit better as well. And I think the Mariners have not backed him up recently. They've lost his last 4 games, but I think the offense shows up here against Gibson, and the Mariners win this game on the money line. Next up, the Toronto Blue Jays and the Atlanta Braves. We got 2 pretty good starting pitching options in this one, Jose Barrios and Spencer Schwellenbach. Barrios had an amazing start to the year. Then we started to see him fizzle out a little bit and give up a lot of base runners, a lot of sharp contact. But now he's found his game again. In his last 5 starts, he's gone 6+ innings. He's given up 2 earned runs or fewer, so all quality starts. His strikeout numbers have improved again. His control's been a lot better, and he's only given up 3 home runs in his last 5 games combined. And all those games ended up being Blue Jays wins, and a lot of those were blowout wins, 15-0, 7-3, 10-3, 9-2. But now you're facing a Braves team that's got a pretty good pitching staff. Schwellenbach's pitched well this year. Strong Braves bullpen. I think this is going to be a pitcher's duel in a low-scoring game. I like the under in Braves Blue Jays. Next up, we'll go to San Diego as the Padres take on the Giants. We got a pretty good pitching matchup in this one as well. Logan Webb and Dylan Cease. But Logan Webb is not in the best form right now. He's given up, even at home in his last game at Oracle Park against the Marlins, 6 earned runs and a home run in that game. Not what we're used to seeing. I mean, Webb's been so dominant at Oracle Park over the last couple of years, but now he's given up 10 earned runs in his last 11 innings of work with 3 home runs to go with it. For a ground ball specialist, that's not what you want to see. Even though his ground ball rate was 18-4 in that game against the Marlins, I think he was a little bit unlucky in that start. But, I mean, now you're facing a Padres team that does a great job at limiting strikeouts. Dylan Cease, obviously, having a great season on the other side on the mound for San Diego, and the Padres are 3-1 in his last 4 games. I got to roll the Padres in this one because of Logan Webb's struggles and the fact that the Giants' offense is not very trustworthy either. Give me San Diego in this one. Next up, the Cleveland Guardians taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Alex Cobb and Gavin Stone are your starters. Alex Cobb he was a little bit worrisome in those rehab starts and that first game of the season against the Twins, but since then, he's been very sharp and looking a lot like the Cobb we've seen the last couple of years with the Giants. And I think this is a good spot for Cleveland, getting a great price on the money line. Gavin Stone was pitching well, but struggled in that last game, giving up 5 earned runs against Diamondbacks in 5 innings of work with 2 home runs to go with it. I know Stone's been a winning machine recently, but Alex Cobb, he's in great form right now. He had 6 strikeouts in 6 innings against Pittsburgh in that last game in a Guardians win. And the key for me, the 12-2 ground ball to fly ball ratio. When Cobb was at his best a couple of years ago, he was really doing a great job of keeping the ball on the ground and limiting sharp contact. So I look for Cobb to pitch pretty well in this game against a tough Dodgers lineup, and I think the Guardians win this game in the money line. And that's it. Those are the games for Saturday in baseball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and put those baseball picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.